No.
Oh, we get white vision.
Okay. So that's how they're playing it.
Wanda's gonna have to kill him again.
Does that mean Paul Bettany is fireworks with himself? F you, Paul
Looking
Bettany.
like the Silver Surfer.
Oh my god. Welcome back to New Rockstars. WandaVision's big mystery cameo might be Paul Bettany.
He
himself?
is. He's such a jerk.
What? The Vision or Jessica?
Wanda
the
Of course it's him. Of course it's him. I love Paul Bettany. When I say he's a jerk, I don't mean it. But it's him. Of course it's him. And he got us all. He got us all. He's the new Agatha.
That sneaky man. Hey, this is Inside Marvel. This is our WandaVision after show. I'm Erik Voss here with Jessica Clemons. How are you feeling after episode 8, Jessica?
Ooh, baby. It was a lot to take in. It was a lot to take in for comic book people. There's so much stuff happening that you had to like rewatch it to like write down every scene of Wanda's flashback was like, okay, well, I gotta get my notebook out. It was a lot to take in this episode. More so to me than the others. I was like, this is a lot of stuff, a lot of callbacks.
Yes, it was. Because Jessica, episode 8 finally gave us some context. We learned for sure that Agatha is a Salem witch who overthrew her coven. We learned that Wanda created this hex on the grounds of a home that Vision was heartbreakingly building for her in Westview to grow old in. And we learned that these sitcoms are based on the TV shows that she watched for comfort growing up throughout her life. And at the end of the episode, Wanda is officially named the Scarlet Witch, but people got questions still. Jessica and I are going to explain this whole deal with white vision in the post-credits scene. A lot to talk about there. We also learned some new stuff about Agatha, and we're going to talk about what we can expect for next week's series finale. Tomorrow will be my in-depth shot-by-shot breakdown of all the Easter eggs you missed this episode. And yes, I am wearing our new latest Obsession shirt, An Unusual Couple. It's got secret augmented reality Easter eggs. It's awesome, and you can get one at newrockstarsmerch.com. If you get this shirt, you will get the opportunity to write in a custom shout-out that will appear at the bottom of our Inside Marvel episodes. Let's see, we got a few here. Lori Ingham says, will the twins stay kids at the end, or are they going to be grown-ups?
They just jumped to being adults.
I don't think they're going to be in it at all. I think they're going to get recast maybe in a future Marvel. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that. Augusta Folletta says, Steve Gurman, you're the Vision to my Wanda, except I would have built Westview in Florida for us. Oh, that's sweet. And then Eric Terry asks, what do you think of the cameo, or is the cameo going to be Jean Grey / Phoenix? The cameo might just be Paul Bettany himself.
Paul Bettany as Jean Grey?
There might be another take on this. There's a lot to break down. We should stop saying there's a lot to break down
and
break it down. Yeah. And yes, we are simulcasting this live on Stereo. You can get this app for free and follow us at stereo.com/newrockstars. If you're listening to us on Stereo now, be sure to stick around for the end because we're going to do a bonus segment in which we are going to react in real time to the voicemails that you guys send us. Jessica, let's dive into it. What's the big WTF this episode?
WTF is the white vision. So this is, everybody wants to know because people that haven't read the comics are probably like, oh, he's just white. But it's more than that.
It is more than that. Okay, so White Vision is from the Vision Quest arc in the 1989 West Coast Avenger comics, which is a very big deal for several reasons. So I'm going to quickly run through it. This is around when Wanda and Vision are living in a New Jersey town in the 80s. And then at some point, a time-traveling villain called Immortus dismantles Vision's body. Now, fun fact, Immortus is actually later revealed to be Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang the Conqueror. But don't worry about that just yet. It's one of these weird, wait, I was this, and I was retconned as this, and I will be retconned from this 3,000 years from now.
Just get ready.
It's awesome. Just get ready. So after he gets dismantled, the Avengers and Hank Pym gather the parts of Vision to try to reassemble him, and they want to use the brainwaves of this guy, Wonder Man Simon Williams, who was involved in an earlier plot involving the Grim Reaper to transfer Vision's consciousness. But they can't do this because that previous process ripped out Williams' soul. So that, plus the damage to Vision's tissue, results in this white soulless Vision form. He's not evil. He's just kind of there. That's just what Vision is now. And what's fun about this, Jessica, is originally Vision dates back to like a golden age era Marvel comics from the 40s where he did have a white form, and they wanted to reboot him as a member of the Avengers in 1968, and they were going to keep that white ghostly complexion, but Stanley's like, no, let's make him red and make
then
him an android.
they still make him white in so many different issues. They're like,
right, so they end up coming full circle with that original incarnation of him.
That storyline, the one that you just recited, of like he is basically like gonna be not like a soldier, but like he's just like a robot now. But there's also like he goes through a different dimension or a different reality and takes the body of another Vision. White Vision has so many capabilities, or not like capabilities of Vision, but like he can do the MCU bringing him into this. It's limitless. And I know that we say that a lot of these episodes because magic is limitless, but like White Vision is literally just a walking computer that has no emotional attachments to anything. And if he can go into realities, that means he can just like take things. And now he's a sentient weapon. So now it's just like, whoo, baby.
Yes, that is Jessica's exactly right. Eventually that is how Vision kind of gets restored after this era in the comics. He gets a body from another dimension, as Jessica said, and then he uses the brainwaves of a deceased scientist named Alex Lipton, and then Simon Williams' brainwaves merge with those, and that restores Vision's empathy and his soul. So he does kind of go back and forth in different various forms. From that point forward, it's kind of like, what part of Vision is Vision here? He's either a disembodied AI voice coming through speakers, or it's his body being used for some other purpose.
It's so many ways. And then bringing in the Nathaniel Richards is just like, oh gosh, where are we going? Where are we going with this?
Well, let's look at it, Jessica, in terms of the MCU, what they seem to be doing. So in WandaVision, we find out Hayward has built his own soulless, weaponized version of Vision, and it looks like actually tried to do some reverse psychology to trick Wanda into using her magic to resurrect him. But they end up getting her to do it kind of like, what am I thinking? What's the reference point here of like, we got your thumbprints on this can of soda that we brought you in the witness room, or in the interrogation room. They tricked her using that residual magic on the drone for episode 5.
Did they know that was going to be we were talking about this on Twitter, and by we, me and some people, not me and you. But so did, and also shout out to, I think is J Wright. He is very smart, and we talk it through on Twitter a lot. But so did he know that he needed just a little bit of Wanda's magic in order to remake Vision? Or was that whole drone idea just like, oh, well, we have some of this magic, might as well? Because also, this might be a stretch, why didn't he just take it off of Monica's clothes? Why didn't he take it off something else that went in there? So that's where I was like a little confused, because I was like, where did that mention get brought up in the show?
He needed Wanda's magic to bring Vision back together, because her magic is derived from the Mind Stone, which is what is now missing from Vision's corpse to bind all of these pieces together. And what made it different, that drone different from Monica's clothes, is it still had that red sorcery magic coursing over it. It hadn't just been warped and changed. Wanda seemed to put a permanent hex on it to keep it from being weaponized from there forward, to kind of trap that drone in stasis. And somehow, using some probably going to be unexplained method, they just scraped some of that off into a petri dish and then like stirred it up and then poured it on Vision's corpse.
He licked it and then spit it into the corpse. I just imagine him like sucking it out like it's venom and just like spitting it and being like, okay, it works now. And I'll believe it. I'll be like, oh, that makes sense.
I think the implication, Jessica, is that Hayward had been trying for 5 years.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
to reanimate Vision's body, but
That's
why
true, that's true.
why were they like just starting to do it the moment Wanda showed up at Sword? I think that was all a show, because notice how careless they were. Super sloppy. They were Sloptown the way they were pulling apart that body. They're just like, hey, we're like world-class technicians, and he's like, nah, just grab the power saw that you rent from Home Depot and just go to town on this corpse, because we need to put on a show to piss her off.
Hayward's a very smart villain in that respect of just being like, you guys, let's just bring in the woman. Like, that can start it all. Let's bring in the source of sadness. Like, let's bring in the person most attached to him and see if she can somehow do something. So maybe it was just trial and error.
Right. Hayward's like, is she still out there? He saw her on the monitor. She looked through the monitor. That was a cool moment. And then they initially directed her to where Hayward's office was. She just didn't wait for them to buzz her in. But that to me tells us that Hayward wanted Wanda to steal those Vision pieces. And he was disappointed when she left without them. And that might have been why he sent Monica up there, in order to try to connect with Wanda, whatever Wanda was doing. And then he could complete his mission of getting Wanda's magic outside of that hex to, sprinkle it on his Vision pieces.
Yeah, to literally get some sprinkles and put it on that cupcake of pieces that is Vision. I spotted this when we did one of our Inside Marvels, where we saw the recording of her walking in there. I was like, why is no one reacting to her walking in there? I was like, and literally everyone's calm. So she didn't break into nothing. And Hayward is a fool. But yeah, he definitely wanted her to steal it, because why would you let the strongest woman, like basically the strongest Avenger, I'm sorry if you guys don't agree with me, literally walk into this place that's just separated by glass? I was like, this makes zero sense. You wanted her to take it so you could find some sort of like connection. Ugh,
and he wanted it so much that in episode 5 or whenever that was, he basically said, oh, I was cleared to show these security tapes. And he lied to Monica. Presumably some of those Sword agents in that room knew that also was a lie. They knew that Wanda did not successfully leave Sword facilities with Vision's corpse. So it really was just a lie on Monica, which comes back to that question. Monica must already be a kind of superhero. That's why they had that security protocol when Monica first walked up. They know she's at almost an Avenger level power, and I think Hayward was like, okay, I'm gonna throw an Avenger and an Avenger, see if one gets knocked out, kind of like curling out of this hex, so I can get some of that yummy magic.
So I can get some of that num 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 num. Hayward. And that's so I'm still confused, and I know that people come here for answers. Hayward just has to be like, he just hates superheroes. He hates superheroes. That is right. He can't be like Ultron. No, you can't be like Mephisto or something. He just literally hates.
I think he hates superheroes that he can't control. The kind of classic government agent, the government leader. But let's talk about this, because it seems like they're adapting that comic, but they're leaving out some of the comic-y characters.
Yes.
So it seems like they're leaving out Immortus. They might bring in some version of Wonder Man or the Grim Reaper, but some people are wondering, is Hayward either the actual Grim Reaper or the actual Ultron, or is he kind of like inspired by these other figures? And his character saw some logic in what Ultron was trying to do with Vision, or maybe like in the comics, what the Grim Reaper was trying to do with Vision's corpse. That's just what Hayward's character motive is. He's not going to put on a hood and grab a scythe and zap people with it.
No. But yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that could be true. But I also think that'd be so close to the narrative that it'd be like, you guys, you can't trick us like this. Disney, you can't do that. You can't be like, so I think he is just Hayward, a director that
Me too.
is starting a beef as a human. I hate, that's what I hate the most, is I'm like, you think money can save you against against Scarlet Witch? The Scarlet Witch? But I think he is just a human that's being a butthole.
Well, and Jessica, I think Hayward is going to be a bit of an audience surrogate, because I think up until this point, the average casual viewer of the MCU has underestimated Scarlet Witch's power, because these past movies, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, they only gave us a glimpse of what Scarlet Witch should be able to do. I mean, even Agatha seemed to be surprised by everything Wanda's been able to do. And I think the price that Hayward pays is going to give us a very clear indicator of what Wanda's capable of moving forward in Multiverse of Madness.
Truly.
Like, this person can rewrite reality, can create a
Yes.
multiverse. Like, don't mess around with her.
Very content as a fan of Scarlet Witch to finally be like, okay, we are getting Scarlet Witch. We are really getting into Wanda Maximoff now. It's gonna be so much fun. At one point, I thought that Agatha was gonna be helpful. I was like, oh, maybe she is gonna help her find her powers. And then later on, I was like, oh no, she just wants to know how she's doing this.
She's just curious. She's like, what's your secret? She's like a neighbor asking for a recipe for brownies.
Yeah, what's your secret? The entire time I was like, wow, she's like a witch version of Dr. Phil. Because she was just like making them relive this trauma on camera. And I was like, will you stop?
She's going to make Wanda apologize to her mother. Like,
yeah, she's going to be
you're
like,
going to have to go to boot camp if you don't learn how to treat your mama with some respect.
And Wanda says, that.
Okay, so Jessica, let's talk about this. Did Bettany just troll us with this big cameo? He said this is an actor
will
work with fireworks. I mean, if this cameo is
that
himself,
butthole.
like what an idiot.
Of course he did. And the thing is, we fell for it because this is something Paul Bettany does. It is
sinker.
Period Paul Bettany behavior of being like, yeah, he's the best guy in the game. And then it's himself. I love him so much, but oh my god, we wrote an entire episode around who we think the cameo is gonna be, and it's Paul Bettany. Unless it's Hank Pym. I was thinking for a minute.
Yeah, because Hank Pym worked on Ultron in the comics and was an Ultron created Vision in the comics, so Hank Pym's part of that whole
timeline-wise, though, would he? Because this is after.
No, in the MCU, Hank Pym isn't related, obviously.
Okay.
I don't think. But you're gonna hate me for saying this, Jessica, and most of you. I don't think the cameo is Paul Bettany, or maybe Paul Bettany was referring to himself in these interviews.
I think there's someone else. I think it's himself.
He might have been.
We're gonna get that epic battle. We're gonna get that epic battle that's gonna be really cool. But it's also gonna be sad because they're both gonna die. Spoiler.
Yeah,
they're both
okay, so that's what we think.
Guys.
We're looking at a white versus red, white Vision versus red Vision, which is interesting. So, Jessica, you think they're gonna die? I think they're gonna be kind of evenly matched. I think what's gonna happen is Vision's soul is gonna get merged back with that body at some point in the future, and Vision will get to live on, and that's how they'll bypass his death and bring him back to life.
I was thinking that the red Vision would win, and then the Hex will also kill Vision along with it, because they're using a fraction of Scarlet Witch's magic to remake the white Vision, whereas this Vision in this world is completely her magic. So she utterly is stronger than the white Vision. Textbook fact. She's fightier than the white Vision. But I was thinking about that too. But then if that's the case, then what's the case with the twins? Then they would have to bring the twins in the world. That's why I was hoping with the storyline with the twins, or like when they do inevitably vanish, maybe we get that original storyline of their souls go into the babies of Billy and Tommy somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
She's playing God.
Well, I think this is going to be a tragedy for Wanda, but like, we're not done with Billy and Tommy in the MCU. I would be surprised if, they're going to be young Avengers. So clearly their souls, whatever they are, is going to have to get reincarnated in some form.
Somehow.
And I think something like that will happen with Vision's essence as well.
The Vision one will be so close, not so close, if you want to find me, go ahead, to the, oh my gosh, Zoe Saldana. in
Gamora?
Gamora. That storyline of just like, yeah, we brought her back, but she doesn't know who she is. Would you assume that the white Vision, when they merge with the red Vision, would also lose his memory? Or do you think he would? Because it's like...
Because we're already seeing that currently with Vision. I think this will be rebooted Vision with his memories, but he won't have Wanda. I think their relationship might be done. I don't think... Because we're running through the full depths of a relationship. Some beautiful dialogues being written for these characters. How much more is there to explore?
In West Coast Avengers, I think it was West Coast Avengers, there's so many versions of Vision's life and Wanda's. They do split up. So this could be the split up, because after White Vision... they split up, and then he becomes the other Vision in a different costume in the green outfit. So that could be this. That would be so close to the comic book storyline, which they have kind of not been doing. They've just been going on their own tangent. But that could potentially be the thing. That would be so sad to watch them break up, like go through all of this and then break up. That would be kind of like, Like, I'd be
Hey,
sad.
that's how you keep that will they, won't they energy alive, right? You got to bring
That's
people
true.
together and you got to
God,
split
now we
them
got
up. You got to
another
keep us watching,
dang
wishing,
theory.
shipping.
Oh, now we got another freaking thing to worry about. They're not gonna end up together. They're not gonna end up together, you guys.
You just reminded us that this is based on the West Coast Avenger run, and I think that's significant, Jessica, because White Vision firmly locks us into West Coast Avengers. I mean, they've referenced all kinds of different comics. They've referenced the Tom King comics. It seems like they've done a bit of a House of M. But the West Coast Avengers run, the most famous thing from that is this whole thing with Mephisto, Agatha, Tommy, and Billy. So that all goes down while Vision is White Vision. And look, people are going to hate me for sticking on this Mephisto train, but I feel I owe it. I owe it to all of you. I have to go down with the ship. If this is not the case, it's fine. I'll take the L.
Keep playing.
Look,
keep playing in the band.
That ending moment there, Jessica, she's holding those two boys, tethering them around their necks with hand in hand. Is that not similar to a marionette, the way those two boys were puppeted by Master Pandemonium in the comics?
I get it.
It is.
But
Zoom
also...
in on Erik's face by the TikTokers the moment Erik realized he was wrong.
Yeah. I get it. Also, like, she's also like a powerful witch. I don't know if we're gonna get into this later, or we probably will, but her magic differing from Wanda's magic, and how her magic is slightly the same as Doctor Strange's magic. Fight me. But fight me. But I just think she knows the kids aren't real, so I think she was like, I'm just gonna choke these kids with some power. I'm gonna choke these kids with some magic. I get where you're coming from.
Well, that's the thing.
Though,
if she knows the kids aren't real, why that's a performative thing that she's trying to manipulate Wanda's feelings right now. When really these kids mean nothing. They are imaginary, and she is putting on a show of hurting them. Why would she do that? You know, and all these other clues we've gotten: unleash hell, demon spawn. You know, it's all there for. People are like, oh, this episode makes it seem less like Mephisto. I'm like, honestly, I feel like we're exactly where we were the past couple episodes.
I was too attached to the fact that she turned a cicada into a bird and then threw the bird into the rabbit's mouth. And I was like, there's something weird with this rabbit. And we are not, the rabbit doesn't just eat birds.
Rabbits are herbivores. Herbivores. Herbivores.
Jessica can't pronounce her, right?
That's the thing. That rabbit, guys, we still have a lot of mystery there with what that rabbit is. Who is Ralph? Like, that's why I think there could be some other cameo coming.
I think
maybe it's not,
I think the
think
rabbit is something. I think we go back to the rabbit tangent because I think the rabbit may be something, because rabbits don't just eat birds. But also, even if the rabbit was just like, oh yeah, if someone was like throw it over their head and be just like, it's a demon rabbit. Like, of course he eats bird. I'd be like, but it ate a bird. Like, it's not just a demon rabbit. Those don't just come lying around. It's Mephisto.
No, I think, actually, we got to talk more about Wanda after the break real quick. But I'll just say right now, if you're still on the Mephisto train, no shame. Choo choo. I'll be conducting this train right off a cliff. I don't give up.
One way ticket off a cliff.
Yeah. I have to. I just think the evidence is still there. It's as much there as it was last week. It's still pretty weak evidence, I'd say, but it's enough. It's enough there, and there's still enough out. I
respect you, because if it turns out to be Mephisto, I'd be like, damn, I even turned away from it. Like, I was even like, I don't think it's Mephisto anymore.
You fair weather Mephisto fans, you cowards, ready to leave one station too soon before we get to the gates of hell. We're so close. Why are you backing out now?
Voss has just gone insane.
I totally have. I've been insane. I've been insane since the first trailer for this show. I'm like, there's gonna be a devil in this. And okay.
I'm losing sentences. I don't know words anymore. The things that you put drinks on top of.
Coasters?
Yes, thank you. I said cooler. My coasters are hexagon shaped, and I started going insane. I was like, like, every time we record, I'm always like, am I a witch?
Am I part of it? Am I in the show?
Yeah. Am I in the show? Who am I? Am I playing Jessica? Am I Jessica that does a podcast on the hexagons?
Yes,
That would
I think
be me
that's
in that
what needs
world.
to happen next. Yeah. All right, we're gonna keep talking about this, but first we want to thank some people who helped us make the episode, starting with our friends at Audible. So Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment, all in one place. At Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks, from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs and a lot more. They also have original entertainment from top celebrity creators and thousands of popular and binge-worthy podcasts. Unlike this podcast, that is a cringe-worthy podcast. These are binge-worthy. It's not just audiobooks, folks. They also have podcast guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, and exclusive Audible originals that you won't find anywhere else. Of interest for new Rockstars fans, Audible has audio versions of some of the greatest comic storylines of all time, including the Dark Phoenix Saga, Kraven's Last Hunt, Planet Hulk. We've referenced these in a lot of our videos. You got to check these out. I really like Audible for some of their original podcast content. They have a new show called The History of Sketch Comedy. That's how Jessica and I met. We're on a sketch team together. History of Sketch Comedy is hosted by Keegan Michael Key. Sketch lovers.
Sketch lovers.
Yeah, so this King and Michael Key one's great. They also have another one called Shootout. It's about the infamous 1997 North Hollywood bank robbery that inspired the movie Heat, among other things, that took place not far from where I live and Jessica lives, but we won't tell you exactly where. I was walking my dog the other day, and a guy kind of gave me a look and a nod as I was going to my apartment. I'm like, oh, damn it, they know where I live.
I'll dox you.
They know
It's
where to come
okay.
for me when Mephisto's not in this.
I'll
Crap.
give your address out on Twitter later today. Everybody tune in at 3 p.m.
No! And with Audible membership, you can download titles, listen offline, anytime, anywhere. The Audible app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. Listen across devices without losing your spot. New members can try Audible for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/WandaVision or text WandaVision to 500-500. Again, that's audible.com/WandaVision or text WandaVision to 500-500. I also want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this video. So Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra or Cialis, but in chewable form and at the fraction of the cost. That's right, you're gonna get some pop-ups by popping these. So Blue Chew tablets. I'm sorry. It's just there. The fruit hangs so low. The plums.
You're gonna be popping more of these tablets. That's so stupid. I love it so much. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
I
good.
have
That was a good one.
an 8th grade sense of humor about this
That
stuff.
was a good one. I loved it. I'm here for it. It was very
Yeah.
fun for me.
So Blue Chew's tablets help men gain that extra confidence for when it is time to perform. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you will receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription, and Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA, and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. So if you could benefit from a bit of extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit bluechew.com for more details and some important safety information. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code WandaVision at checkout. Just pay the $5 of shipping. That's bluechew.com, promo code WandaVision to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode. And also Stereo. We know you have a lot of questions and a whole bunch of theories about this episode. We're going to be addressing them in a bonus Q&A segment that will only be on Stereo this morning. So as we said before, Jessica and I are live on Stereo as we record this. Stereo is the live podcast app that allows you to react to questions and comments in real time. You submit them to us, we listen to them, we play them on the episode, and you hear us talk to you in real time. It's like a phone call with the world. It's like the best of live call-in shows. All kinds of madness is happening.
This is a telethon.
It is. So our bonus Q&A with Stereo listeners will actually end up going up on the YouTube channel on Sunday. So if you want your questions featured on YouTube, but if you missed it this week, just be sure to join us next week at 8 a.m. Starting next week, we're going to be on Stereo every weekday, 5 days a week, in addition to making daily and double daily videos on YouTube. We're just going to be very, very busy, and there's going to be lots of ways that you can hear us and talk to us. It's going to be a very exciting week and weeks going forward. So download the Stereo app right now if you haven't already. Follow us at stereo.com/newrockstars. Click that link in the description. Again, that's stereo.com/newrockstars. All right, Jessica, back to our next WTF.
I literally started crying at that joke. I am obsessed. now I'm gonna buy it just for the joke. Everyone should be buying Blue Chew for Voss's one-line joke.
Yes,
so
for that alone.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay, let's get into this. I'm popping one. Okay, so Wanda WTF was Agnes's backstory. Why was she more powerful than the other witches in Salem? Which, okay, you go first. I like how I pointed it.
Okay, so an interesting thing. She is the daughter of that other witch. She called her mother. That's Evandra, I think is the name, Harkness. And they say you stole magic above your age and station. You practice the darkest of magic. And then she says, I didn't break your rules. They simply bent to my power. I gotta say, Jessica, I loved this opening because I thought it was going to be the classic Salem witch trial where they drag a witch, they tie her to a pole, and then they force her to confess. But no, it was a witch on witch trial. Like, that is so freaking cool. Like, how messed up is this witch for the other members of the coven to turn on her?
And you didn't notice until they like did the magic of the chains. I was like, oh shit. I was like, they're witches too. I was like, damn.
That was awesome.
And ruthless.
Yeah. It seems like she, as the daughter of this, of the leader of the coven, that she maybe had access, kind of like the kid on the football team who's the son of the coach and can peek at the playbook before practice. Is that a thing? I was never on a football team. I just assumed that.
I can tell. Look, I can tell. I can completely
I'm just saying,
tell.
I
with
was
what
on
you just
baseball
said.
teams, and the coach's son tended to be at a nice, convenient place in the batting order. Wonder why.
That makes more sense, but he wasn't cheating looking at a book of plays.
The truth is, I would be terrified. I would hope that my name wouldn't be on the batting order. I would do that math. I'm like, okay, well, if every one of us strikes out, it means I will only have to be up at bat 2 or 3 times this game. I hope that's it. And then the rest of the team's doing great. I'm like, damn it, you got a base hit? That means I got to go up to bat, and I'm going to be the third out.
Damn it.
I hated playing baseball as a kid. Love watching it. Hated
I can
playing.
tell.
So I think Agnes/Agatha must have been some kind of exception to the rule of this coven. It's implied that these are witches from Salem. It's 1693. They might have been able to slip away from those trials. Means these are some badass bitches, and Agatha is the most badass of them.
Being badass.
I think she had some kind of innate power. She might have been the Scarlet Witch of her generation, the most powerful witch.
Well,
and then she feels threatened by seeing a new witch that can do stuff she can't.
that's why I thought her mom was the original or not the original, but one of the Scarlet Witches because of the crown on her head when she had the powers. I was like, oh, this looks crown. Just like Scarlet Witch's crown. Yeah, I but when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I was like, the powers. And then when I rewatched it again, I was like, oh, this is definitely like she was a Scarlet Witch. And I thought at first she was absorbing their powers, but she was just retaliating their powers, right? Like they were shooting at her. She was reversing the shooting back at everyone else tenfold. So I was immediately like, okay, her mom's a Scarlet Witch. I think, okay, theory. I think Agnes wanted to be the Scarlet Witch. I think she tried so hard to like get more powerful by probably working. This is also a question. How, and I'm sorry for not knowing this. Was the Darkhold already made on Wondergore or by the demon by now? Because I was like, what if she was just reading the book and that's what the mom was like, we don't read this damn book. Only I get to read this damn book. Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's just like the seashell bowl that everyone has in their bathroom. She was like, don't actually touch it. It's not actual seashell.
This candy bowl is for guests. It's like, well, no guest ever eats this. It's like,
we don't have guests. It's for the guest. Screaming at you. I'm like, okay. So I was like questioning that because I was like, what if she was up at Wondergore or whatever, working with the demon, and they were like, girl, we don't work with that demon. We don't do that mess down here. Why are you trying to get involved with the darkest of magic? That's like straight up the devil.
Well, some people are pointing out the fact that her purple colored magic, which theirs wasn't purple, theirs was kind of this blue color with a bit of orange poking off it. So purple implies like a connection to Dormammu or the dark dimension, right? That she could have gotten her powers from this other dimension. So it means maybe Dormammu could, I mean, Dormammu just had like, you know, a mocap face in Doctor Strange, but like there are other forces in the dark dimension. It could be Chthon or it could be Nightmare or someone like that. Nightmare usually has the color green associated with him. Or it could just be be as simple as, I don't know if she was firing off that energy. To me, it seemed like she was draining it. Like the way that Thanos had like the tethers wrapped around him on Titan, and then he kind of used that and shifted his weight and threw everyone down. It seemed like Agatha was doing a version of that she was using that goofy looking spell, Harry Potter without the wands, as Josh and I were joking about
perfect.
to kind of suck their life force out of them, turning them into these kind of lifeless husks.
So if she was draining their powers, was she also taking them? Was she taking the powers of like 7 witches? And
right, I do, and I think that's what made her capable of standing up to her mom at the end. Her mom stayed out of it because she wanted to be like at the execution line, the one soldier who has the blank and their rifle. She wanted to not have her hands dirty by executing her daughter or draining her life force away. And then once she was able to overcome all these other witches, Evangel was like, crap, all right, I'll try to take her down. And then at that point, she was too powerful. It backfired.
She's also obviously taking her powers from evil, because she was like, Mom, I can do good. And she was like, no, you can't.
But like, what is good to a witch?
That's why we have to kill you.
That was such a weird line. It's like, witches don't want to be good. It's like, I can do good. I'll be a good witch, as in I'll only kill like virgins who walk in a graveyard at night. They're like, we don't want to do that weird Lovecraftian bullshit.
Yeah, do not bring that in here.
There's shades of morality within witch law. Like, I don't think they care.
Yeah, they're like, what's wrong with you? That's not good. I also think by good she meant like, because I feel like her mom and the other witches were probably not harming just innocent humans. Maybe I don't know. I don't think so. I think they were kind of just doing witch stuff with herbs. With herbs. What if I said with herbs? I started saying it right when I'm talking about actual plants. But I think they were just doing magic with normal stuff, which made them seem dangerous. But like Agnes or Agatha would have actually done harm to people. She was like, I just think her whole justification is like, she wants to be the most powerful. She wants to know everything, because she was like, yeah, I learned this. It took me years. It took you 10 minutes. It took me like a millennia. It took you an hour. She was like, how are you doing this? She just wants to know everything. She wants to, which kind of Doctor Strangey. Look, keep tying it in. Keep going
Harry
back to Doctor Strange. They're the same person. Shut the hell up. Or Harriet the Spy. Or Nancy Drew, Jessica, but whatever.
I want to interview the whole world, and I want to know everything.
And I want to know it all.
Yeah, I think, so you got to imagine, what are these witches' goals versus what was Agatha's goal? To me, it seems like these witches just want to live in secret and do their own little devil worshipping on the side, whereas she's like, no, I want to use this power to dominate the world, and I want to like rewrite reality in a way that I can, based off of these secrets I've learned from the dark dimension. Why aren't we going the next step? And they're like, honey, you're going too far with this. We're trying to just fly off the radar.
Truly. And if they're in secret, she's just straight up like, why don't we go big? And it's like, girl, I don't want to get killed at the stake. Like, I'm not that powerful. And she's like, I am. And I'm like, well, good for you. You go out there. Leave me out of this. You go out there then. You go fight the humans. Like, I'm staying right here in Salem.
I want to ask you, Jessica, Wanda is Pietro then? Is he a projection? I believe Agatha called him a crystalline possession. Yeah. Or is he a transmutation, as she also showed she's able to do, shapeshift animals into other animals? And also, why Evan Peters? Why Evan Peters?
That's a loaded question. First off, I think he's just, I don't think he's a projection. I think he is a transmutation, because you can physically like touch him and do a bunch of stuff with him. Also, she's using him as a vessel to see and hear everything. So I feel like you need to be able to have like an actual, she's a microphone. And what are microphones? Nouns. And so is he. Ooh, and a verb. So I don't think he's just like a projection anymore, more so that she mutated him into something else, whether it be like a cicada or something creative, but she's still using him as the vessel. Will he be, which I think this was maybe your question, I don't know if it was, you asked like 5 questions in one.
I did.
Will he be Evan? He's not coming into the MCU.
Yeah,
So
this
I was like,
episode
it's
made
not.
it even clearer that it's not going to be Fox
He's
Quicksilver.
not.
I mean, this week Kevin Feige confirmed at a TCA
Yeah.
event that the quote was Evan Peters. It's just another way that certain people were messing around with Wanda, and based off
True.
Agatha's words, it seemed like he is some form of magic that she is using as her eyes and ears. But it's not something that she pulled from the multiverse. And the fact that it's Evan Peters is just a wink to the fans, in which Feige and the rest of the Marvel team vastly underestimated how fans would interpret seeing Quicksilver from the Fox movies show up in this.
Well, again, how dare you do stuff like that, knowing that your fans are going to be like digging like 20 feet into the ground for information. But yeah, I think he's just like, and she also mentioned like, I would have done your actual brother, but he's literally in a different place. Like, I couldn't do anything.
That was
with
kind
his
of the
body.
justification there. But then why not just another actor? Why Evan Peters? I think they're like, oh, we can get Evan Peters for
That's
this. It'd
the
be fun.
joke.
Yeah,
That's
I think
the...
it's a joke.
That's the...
See, I don't think he's a transmutation. I mean, last week I was saying that the rabbit is going to be Nicholas Scratch and the rabbit's going to shapeshift into Evan. I don't think so. I think I was wrong. I was wrong. I'll take the L.
He said it, you guys. Record it.
One of many times.
You said you're wrong before.
Add it to the list of what we got wrong 2021. No, I mean, look, I made a lot of theories within these episodes week to week. Like this Wonder Gore Everbloom thing. I don't know if that's going to be the case next week. Are they going to be also... I hope so, but it might not. I was
leaning towards it after the Salem stuff. I was like,
okay.
She must be going up to the mountains to like work on stuff, but it's like the demons there. And she's just hanging out with the demon.
Mountain demons.
I don't think she's good. Mountain goats and mountain demons, same thing. You guys didn't know this, but the same shit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's like a foolproof theory, but I was like, she's been getting her magic from something darker, whether it's the Darkhold and she's reading the book like Doctor Strange. I think keep going back like Doctor Strange. I think she still is like, I don't know. I think Wonder Gore has something to do with it, but keep going.
Yeah, I just think like shape-shifting animals and shape-shifting forms are part of her powers. I think Senior Scratchy's something else. And we still don't know. That rabbit ate another animal. Rabbits don't do that. She talked to the rabbit. The rabbit said something to her. And I don't think that was just a joke. I think he said something. There was, past times where she's like, Senior Scratchy has real star potential. Yeah, I mean, now I'm swinging back to the other side that he might be old Scratch. This guy might be the devil in some form.
He's old Scratch.
I mean,
if he was her son, I would be so mad. I'd be like, why is it Nicholas Scratch? Why is he eating a bird?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be, I think the rabbit's just going to be Ralph at the very least. Like, that rabbit's going to be called
and Ralph's going to be something else. We still don't know who the missing person is. We don't know.
We don't. And I think that's kind of the big question mark remaining. What is this rabbit? Is it Ralph? And is Ralph Nightmare or Mephisto or Chthon or one of these other demonic entities? Or is it some new thing that Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to introduce? We still got one more episode. But let's talk about Jessica, our next WTF. What are Wanda's powers? Specifically, did she have sorcery before the Infinity Stone?
Yes.
That looks to be the case.
Yes. She did. Let's talk about it. She did. Also, the missile was that damn toaster. These things are slowly coming back now. When that beeping was happening, I was like, I'm going to go insane with this beeping. And it's the same as the toaster. Same beep. But yeah, she obviously had powers, and the stone literally just like amplified them.
Yes, absolutely. That looks to be the case. And so now the question is, was she must have been born with these powers. Does she have the mutant gene? Why do I keep wiggling this thing? I need like something to hold. I need a pen. I have a spoon over here. No, it's got milk on it. I don't want to flick it around.
Ew, stop it.
All right, I'll stop. The word milk is triggering.
Yes, how dare you? I'm lactose intolerant. But it's okay. I just can't have milk or ice cream or pizza or good things. I can't be happy. So, sorcery and X-Men. Let's talk about it. So there is potential that she could have the mutant gene. Like, this could be the introduction to the X-Men. She could be, right?
It's gotta be.
But it like they clearly were like, chaos magic. Like they want to shove in our face that this is MCU, right?
Well,
So
no, chaos magic is in the
this what I'm
comics.
saying.
Like those two things aren't separate.
Yeah.
Well, they are separate, but like in the comics, Wanda's both a mutant who also has chaos magic.
Yeah,
That's
yes.
kind of what her mutant ability is.
But in the
even though it's
in the
magic.
cinematic universe, do they differentiate?
I hope they
that's
don't.
one
I
of my
hope-
biggest things.
Well, here's what I think. I think they're gonna tie Monica and Wanda together this way because it's clear that Monica had powers before going through this hex wall. She was strong. She had some kind of durability. Something happened to her in the past. I think both of these women had a mutant gene. I think that's, even
And
though
amplified
Monica
with
Rambeau's not a
theirs.
mutant in the comics, I think that's a simple fix. That's a simple retcon. Just say, oh, she's a mutant,
Just-
and her powers
mutant
are
now.
similar to Captain Marvel. You know, she can absorb energy. She can see the she can turn into a wave of light, essentially. But yeah, I think that's going to be something that brings these two together, is the fact they were both born with these powers and they were both exposed to radiation that amplified those powers.
Absolutely. I think especially with that scene of like seeing the stone and she saw herself as Scarlet
Yeah, that's our next question. So what do you think that was? What
Okay,
was that
I
exactly?
immediately saw it, and my first reaction was because in one of the comics, her mom is a Scarlet Witch, and so I was like, "Oh, it's her mom." But then we saw her mom, and I don't think she's a Scarlet Witch in this series, in the cinematic universe. I think she's just a normal mother, a normal mother without superpowers.
Irina,
so I do
Wanda,
think
Maximoff.
I think she literally, the stone was like, "This is you," and then instead of wearing that outfit, she put on a trench coat jacket and just went around as
Yeah.
Wanda Maximoff. But I think this is them being like, this is you. Deep down, this is you. You know you have something. You survived 2 days in rubble with a bomb. You obviously did something to survive that with your brother. So I think it was her. But at first I immediately was like, "Oh, is it her mom?" I was like, "It's her mom. She came back to tell her she's a star."
I like that. I like that interpretation, Jessica. I think what this was is a glimpse to the future of
Yeah.
Wanda seeing we're gonna see the MCU version of the Scarlet Witch in like a full Scarlet Witch costume. If you look at a poster, you can start to see pieces of what that will look like.
Yes.
It's gonna be a dark crimson color. It's not gonna be that bright red Halloween costume. It's gonna be something that looks cooler and might have a version of that magical tiara that we saw on
Yeah.
Agatha's mother. But what I like about this, Jessica, is it defines Wanda as a sort of nexus being from the beginning. Agatha described her as a myth, but she could kind of see into a future. I think not only was she looking into a future in that moment, that was showing us an alternate reality. It was like our first glimpse into the multiverse of Wanda seeing an alternate version of her. And that kind of set the stage for, in the finale episode, I think we're going to start to see her come full circle with that moment and build out the multiverse as her awakening showed her.
200%. 200%. 210%. Good job. Gold star. I love it. I'm here
gold
for
star.
it. I'm reading into it. Yes,
Gold and
completely
sparkle
agree. There you go. You have them at your disposal.
Yes.
Just prepared. This is not Rogue Theory. But I agree. I have nothing to say to that. Nothing to counter it. I love that.
As we look ahead to the finale, Jessica, our next WTF, what's going to happen in this finale? Yeah, how's WandaVision's final episode going to link us to Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness?
Dude.
How's this battle going to play out?
It depends. It depends. After having this talk and me liking the idea of White Vision becoming them separating, but we still have Vision, we still have Wanda. They just go fight different battles, and eventually we'll come back in the end. But like, if they are two different beings and go do two different things, it can go into Spider-Man where we see a Wanda, or like, well, ultimately I know that Wanda doing this power thing ultimately disrupts everything else. So I think that's what Spider-Man will be about, is how like it disrupted that. But I do think going forward, if we do this two separates, we have Vision and Wanda, and they are separated, which hard to believe, but it did in the comics. They will go fight different battles, and what we'll get like kind of how like Carol Danvers is rarely there. We'll probably get something like that, where it's like Vision's there sometimes, or Wanda's there sometimes. Wanda would probably be the one that's there sometimes. She's probably like, I'm done with this world. She pulled a Manhattan and was just like, I hate these people and I'm sick of this planet. I'm leaving for a little bit. But I think that would ultimately be where it goes. But is that 100% going to happen? Probably not, because this last episode's so much dependent on it. We still haven't seen where Monica is. We like, now that Agatha's there, is Agatha going to stay there? Is she going to die? Where is Senior Scratchy? like there's so much,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you after the last episode.
Well, I think there was some thought that maybe Pietro and Monica might team up from that Snooper's gonna snoop moment. I don't think so. Based off of what Agatha
I don't
said
think
this
so.
episode, it seemed like he's just kind of an incarnation of her magic, and that he'll get reassumed into whatever threat Agatha is. Maybe team up with her as they're trying to overwhelm Wanda. I think Monica and Vision, Hex Vision, are gonna team up to fight White Vision.
100%.
And then she's gonna
Wanda
give
has to fight.
Vision the edge to overcome White Vision.
I don't know how she's gonna fight two people, two storylines. She has Hayward, she has White Vision, she has Agnes. I was like, I don't know how she's gonna fight all three, but yeah, they definitely are gonna team up. Damn, that's gonna be like sad because I bet they're gonna fight White Vision, succeed, and then Wanda's gonna be Agatha, succeed, and then while the hex is going down, Vision's running to Wanda to be like, goodbye.
Yeah, that's what's hard about
Sorry
this.
to make everybody sad.
The show is so many things at once. It's both like a story about like technology and a story about witchcraft and magic. And obviously a story about like grief, which I think that's what I love most about this episode is just this writing.
So
This
sad.
one line that Vision said, what is grief if not a love persevering?
Yeah.
Such a beautiful statement. Every once in a while the MCU really catches you by the heart with these lines. It's such a human moment that that's exactly what Wanda needed to hear in that moment, and you could see what made her fall in love with Vision. And that's what I've been missing from Wanda and Vision's relationship up until this point in the MCU is what made her fall for him, and you can see it in that moment. Vision's profound worldview was able to connect with Wanda in this beautiful moment. So I hope we get another moment of that next episode. I assume we will.
Cried at the scene where when she pulled out that piece of paper. I was like, what is that? And it was like, grow old here. And I was like, he bought a plot of land.
Yeah, suddenly this is Pixar's Up, and it's like, oh.
And then I was also like, in my head, I was like, girl, go off. Destroy everything in sight. I was like, I would go insane. And then on top of that of being like, I was also like the left side of my brain was like, how did two of the most powerful superheroes think they could just leave and live in the middle of New Jersey together and be like, we're like a happy family? And it's like, you guys are the strongest people. Everyone's trying to kill you and you need to save the world constantly.
Yeah.
But it was
I think as we look ahead to Spider-Man No Way Home, something we'll be talking about a lot more in the weeks and months ahead, I think at the end of the day, this is going to end with a kind of House of M-esque birth of the multiverse or an access to the multiverse, and that's where Wanda will escape. I think the kids may go with her. She's going to try to find some other universe to try to hide in and try to escape in, and I think that's going to be her ending. I think she's going to have to split up with Vision, and he's going to have to fight off White Vision to allow her to escape, and that's just how she's going to do it. So that will set up Loki.
Agreed.
I think Multiverse of Madness, that kind of stuff. But we have, I think, one final What the Devil segment. And
I wrote one down.
Okay,
Keep going.
great.
Sorry. In my
Because here's
notes,
the deal.
I wrote one.
I could totally be wrong about Mephisto. I understand. But I have to go down with the ship. So I want to make a final argument for why I think Mephisto might still show up in this
because it's the last.
series.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead. Give him your platform.
We start this episode with a Salem witch trial, but a different witch trial, witch on witch, right? So in the language of this, people are saying, oh, they kind of sidestepped some of the dark satanic elements to appease China. No, go check out me and MT's Big Question episode. They could totally put in all kinds of dark superstition stuff in there. They don't care about China. Disney Plus is not in China. And when it is, they can simply remove this title from it and not care. They can remove this episode. They can edit episodes so that it isn't about satanic stuff. We talked about this rabbit. I just want to focus for a second on the fact that they're speaking in Latin. And I think that's a deliberate choice because Latin is the association of like ancient spells in our world, because it is a lot of this magic is done in defiance of the Roman Catholic Church. It has a Christian origin. The fact that they could say any kind of weird made up language in that moment. They deliberately had them say Latin, which I think gives a kind of Christian overtone to what their dark magic is. Now, this rabbit, it's still, we don't know, this rabbit is gonna be something. And they call him Senor Scratchy. Now, if he's not her son, Nicholas Scratch, we're back to the argument that he could be Old Scratch. She said in episode 2, Senor Scratch has got real star quality, don't you think? He is a carnivore, which rabbits are not. He said something to her. This rabbit could, and he was right next to the open Darkhold on the table. There's something with this rabbit. We know that this is tied to the West Coast Avengers storyline, and sure, they're going to leave out plenty of elements from the West Coast Avengers storyline. They're only adapting pieces of it. But the most important thing, and this isn't just like what the nerds are pulling up some obscure comic issue and making a case for it. Every time in the past when Elizabeth Olsen has done a press for who the Scarlet Witch character is, she's like, I'm going to go back and explain who Scarlet Witch is in the comics for all you Marvel fans. She brings up this whole storyline of her kids being pieces of Mephisto's soul. That is so important to Scarlet Witch's journey. And that sets up House of M. Like Mephisto is an important character in the MCU in so many ways, or in the Marvel comics in so many ways. And they said unleash hell, demon spawn. You know, there are all these clues in there, and these aren't just throwaway visual clues like the Grim Reaper helmet in the animated intro. These are lines that characters say, and they're lines that the writers have to know the meaning of when they put it in there. And then finally, when she has these tethers around these kids' throats, like, if she knows they aren't real, why is she so worried about threatening them, if not for it being a show, a marionette show, a puppet show, and it evokes that moment of past Master Pandemonium puppeting the kids with his hands? I think these kids could be pieces of Mephisto's soul. If they're going to call him Mephisto explicitly in the episode, it's one thing. Maybe it'll be implicit, just something we could interpret from it. But all the evidence is there that they are definitely being inspired by that moment of Mephisto using fragments of his soul to manifest children that are tricks to manipulate Wanda. It's all there. How far they want to go to spell out this rabbit, or that there's someone in the shadows, but Ralph, there's a missing person. We don't know what this rabbit is. He's something, and it's going to get revealed in the final episode.
He said it last here.
I rest
and we
my
will
case.
learn next week that it's Nightmare.
How wrong I am.
And he will go
It would totally be
insane.
Nightmare, yeah.
The next episode will just be me and John, because we're like, Voss just went off the ran. He ran away. He ran away to New Jersey.
Man, people are rooting for me so hard to be wrong. I get it. It's fine.
They are.
If
like,
I backed out at this point,
goose.
if I were to say before the show is done, actually, I don't think so, I would disappoint far more of you. I have to go down with the ship.
True, because I definitely jumped off. I literally got in the dinghy. You're staying, playing the cello. I said, nope. I was Billy Zane. I took the kid and I jumped in the boat. And
I have a child. I have a child.
It's a child. I stole a kid, got in that boat.
Whereas, meanwhile, I am in a string quartet with Mephisto and the Grim Reaper and Nightmare saying, gentlemen, it's been an honor playing with you tonight.
Yeah. And for some reason, you guys start playing the Cantina song. And you guys go, this ship is going down. They're like, damn, this is good. This is good music.
This is great. Well, that is it for this episode of Inside Marvel, or WandaVision After Show. We're going to be back next week with our reaction to the finale episode. We're going to see how right and wrong all these theories are. What a ride it has been.
We should just the entire hour just write down what we were wrong about.
There's gonna be a lot of now we stick around on Stereo. We're gonna start answering your questions. It's gonna be like the after party for the after show. Be sure to download the Stereo app if you haven't already. Stereo.com/new Rockstars. We're doing new shows every day of the week, I think, starting next week. Again, Jess, thank you for joining me. You are such the perfect co-host. Calling me out on my bullshit, giving me theories I didn't think of. You're so great. It's so funny. It's so hilarious.
I'm sure you could find anyone to call you out on your bullshit.
But you do it in a way that doesn't make me feel bad, which is nice.
Oh, never. I'm here for critiques. I'm like your 4th grade teacher. I seem a little disappointed, but I'm not. I have a bad way of showing it.
Follow Jessica at Lulu_Clemons on Twitter, and then Lulu Clemons on Instagram and other places. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to Inside Marvel wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to close with our favorite moment of the episode.
Where are my children?
Where are my children?